Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Reel McCoy. I am your host, Mephisto. With me always, my host and my partner in crime. Oh, my feelings. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, buddy.
What is the Reel McCoy? The Reel McCoy is your weekly movie podcast where we discuss movies. We send you off to watch some sort of a movie. You come back to us and we geek out, we nerd out, we break it down, we kind of talk about these things, and we spice it up with a little bit of, levity and good feelings. Anyway, last week we told you to go and watch Collateral with Tom Cruise and Jamie Foxx, by director, is it Michael Mann?
Correct, Michael Mann.
Me and names. So by director Michael Mann, it is a kind of a weird movie. I don't remember how was it perceived back in the day. I think it had like good reviews. It didn't quite make the money it was supposed to make, or something or other.
Actually, it made $220 million on a $60 million budget.
Oh,
it actually did very well for what it is, and what it really is. It's a throwback to an assassin-esque film noir. That's really what it is. If the music really plays on that aspect, especially the jazz angle, which we'll talk about.
We'll talk about. There's a lot of stuff going on with the music, a lot of things. Very, 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 as we kind of discussed, and there's also a piece of music in it that we can talk about, maybe elaborate later, that really reminded me of Big Lebowski, because I was going to say this is a very much a Los Angeles movie.
This is a Los Angeles movie. In fact, the Los Angeles Tribune rated this as number 9 in the best films that feature Los Angeles as a setting of all time.
Interesting, because the one thing that came up to mind, because there's a piece there, there's a musical piece there while there's a driving sequence. Where it kind of reminded me of the Big Lebowski. Also, there is a piece there that kind of, not really, reminded me of Falling Down with
Yes.
not Kirk Douglas, Michael Douglas,
Douglas.
which is a very, very, very
Very good movie. It's a
good
fantastic film.
LA
Yeah.
based movie that kind of features the city as one of the, like, the settings is also a part of the movie.
In Falling Down, LA is a character in its own right.
Exactly. So let's say hello to the chat. We've got two people in the chat. It is Saf and probably Biffer, but he didn't say hello yet. I would imagine so. Thank you for joining us. By the way, like this video, share, subscribe to the channel. We've seen a good influx of people coming in, which is a good thing for a small, very small channel like this one. Mm-hmm. Really appreciate it. If you do, you don't have to share it. You don't have to subscribe. You don't have to like it or subscribe, but please share it around. Maybe other people are into this thing like we are. All right. Shall we start with a little bit of details? Like,
I was gonna say, did you want to go ahead and share all the social stuff?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Let's let's do that. If you want to contribute to our little podcast or the channel, you can talk to me on at Mephisto on Twitter or at Mephisto79 on Instagram. Mephisto79 at gmail.com for emails, whatever you want to do, or just comment section down below. Please let us know what's what. If you are inclined graphically, please DM me so we can maybe work stuff out. We're trying to open up stuff for next year. We're looking at 2022 to let's say upgrade graphically. I've been also working on that, kind of on the low end, not to my own satisfaction, so I can't really show anything just yet. So
before we get started, do you want me to go just do you want to do a rundown of all of these behind the scenes interesting facts?
Yeah.
So
let's start with some of the facts. Yeah, go ahead.
Some of the facts. So originally this was drafted by the screenwriter Beadle, originally wrote this as a kind of a two-page treatment called The Last Domino. And he got in contact with several people, including Frank Darabont, who at the time was working with HBO on producing small films, right? Mm-hmm. HBO turned it down. Categorically turned it down.
So they were going for a TV movie, or...
Yeah, because HBO was already starting to make their own films at that time, starting in the early 2000s. And now we know HBO makes these grandiose, really good, that the HBO films are fantastic films in their own right. But this was going to be one of the first ones. So it turned it down. But when it finally got set up as an original kind of screenplay that was starting to be tossed around Hollywood, Russell Crowe was outrageously interested in playing Vincent.
I can see him as Vincent. I can actually see him as Vincent.
He was so interested that he convinced Michael Mann to be attached on the project.
Oh, okay.
And you know who Michael Mann wanted to play Max first?
No.
Adam Sandler.
You know what? In context, after watching Uncut Gems, in context, after watching a few of dramatical roles that Adam Sandler did, I could say yes, but in 2004, no. It would be totally out of character for him.
Well, this is right after Punch Drunk Love, which I think he got an Academy Award nomination for. Which was it's a fantastic film, by the way. Punch Drunk Love, if you haven't seen it.
I haven't.
But then he had a conflict of interest with Spanglish, so he couldn't make it. His next
Spanglish
dramatic
at the same
role.
time. Yeah. Spanglish. Yes. Look, I've seen Spanglish numerous times, not because I wanted to, because I'm married to Mrs. Meth, and Mrs. Meth loves that movie. Absolutely adores that movie.
But I will say that it was Michael Mann who went to Tom Cruise, and Tom Cruise was immediately convinced to play Vincent, which makes sense. Yeah. I mean, then the original screenwriter actually wanted De Niro, after Sandler dropped out, to play the role of Max.
But De Niro turned it out because he was already Taxi Driver?
No, actually, the studio turned it down because they demanded that someone had to be younger to play the role of Max.
It's kind of weird because Max's character can definitely be a 50-year-old man or a 60-year-old man just because of how the story plays out. The fact that he's stuck in the same job
in
for
a
a
way,
long
but
time,
also
dreaming about other
would a
things.
50-year-old man already have those aspirations to start a business in his late 50s? Because De Niro was in his late 50s at the time.
I would.
Yeah, that's where it kind of. I see where
It's
they wanted to turn that down.
the thing is, if we follow the story, the thing is he wanted to open up a business, but he never really realized it as in terms of realizing his aspirations. He was always stuck in that dream to open up a business. Oh, I'll open it up once I have this and this and this lined up,
Yeah.
right?
And once we get to that one conversation with Vincent and Max in the cab, because
Yeah,
that's one of the best scenes in the whole movie. But
I think
after
so.
that, then Cuba Gooding Jr. turned down the role of Max because they thought that he was going to be typecast and miscast in the role, which I don't understand because
I don't see it because
yeah,
it's the character of Max is really different from what Cuba Gooding Jr.
he
did
does.
at
Yeah.
all. Like
Um,
he could have done that. I
yeah.
mean, Jamie Foxx is taking up a lot of these kind of weird roles where one like we talked about this before, I think, where some actors or most of the better actors do the one good movie for the soul and one movie for the
For the money.
pocket. Yeah, for the
Yeah.
pocket. This is one that Jamie Foxx definitely did for the soul.
Well, actually, it was Michael Mann who recommended Foxx for the role because he worked with him in what movie?
I really don't remember.
Ali.
He worked with him in Ali. Nice. Well, wait. Ali was a year before this or 2 years? When
I
was
believe
Ali?
it was in 2003.
Really? I
Mhm.
thought it was like a 2010 movie. Me and memory
Oh.
and names.
And then one of the last bits of things about miscasting was Val Kilmer was supposed to play Detective Fanning.
The
Mark
Mark
Ruffalo's
Ruffalo
character.
role?
Yeah.
No.
But then Val Kilmer turned it down to be in what movie?
Uh,
That turned out to be a giant bomb, one of the biggest
Heat.
bombs of all
No.
time.
Uh,
Alexander.
oh God. Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot
Yeah.
the early 2000s had a lot of like
Like
fucked up movies,
but
man.
hits and misses, man.
Yeah,
Hits and
a
misses.
lot of hits and misses. Well,
Mm.
compared to the 90s where all of the like a lot of the movies I like not necessarily were hits, but they were all like memorable. Like Face Off was not a massive success, but it was a hit in terms of longevity because of John Woo and
Yeah,
such.
and
It's
then
just an example. It's just an example. It's a
I
bad
was gonna say
example, I
the
know.
last little side note I was gonna add before we get into it forward was it's really funny because a lot of the actors actually did a lot of background character work. You know that Tom Cruise spent several months working as an undercover FedEx employee.
FedEx employee?
Do you know
Why?
why? Why he did that?
Why?
To try to perfect being unrecognizable. As a hitman, you don't want to be
Wow.
recognizable. Yeah.
Hmm.
And Jada Pinkett Smith actually spent several months working with an attorney.
Well, to be fair, the one thing I do know about this movie is the fact that all the actors really put the work down on the characters, like really, really, really put the work
Yeah.
down. Like
Everyone was
I know
committed to this project. Everyone wanted to be in this film that are in this film.
it's very weird that Tom Cruise went, even though he was already, it's after Mission Impossible 2 or 3 by this point.
2,
I think
because
it's
Mission
2
Impossible
because
3 came out in 2005, 2006.
he did a lot of work in terms of gunplay. I think he trained in Terran Tactical, but I'm not sure it's the same place.
Yeah, he did, and then also he did constant cardio marathon training for running scenes, which he has a very infamous one in this movie too.
Yeah, exactly. And the weird part is the same place where they trained Keanu Reeves to do the John Wick movie, and you can tell. And there's a point, especially in the scene where the disco is. We're going to touch upon that, but the scene where the disco is, the Club Fever, the Club Fever scene is where you can see like, oh, this is like a very rudimentary type of John Wick type deal, because this assassin
even
is
all of his,
like John Wick.
All of his bullet patterns with handguns. It's 2 in the sternum,
one in the head. All right. So let's dive into the actual story. And again, we're not going to go through every scene by scene. We're going to go through a lot of what I think, or what we think are the most important ones. And the one thing that sets up the Max character is this. As we discussed, he is a cab driver, and he has the island. Now, when I saw this the first time, and I forgot, and when I saw this critically this week, I was like, I don't remember him owning an island. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. It's the dream. And he explains it later to Jada Pinkett, where he says, I always put this in front of me to relax.
What he does, he tells her, you need a vacation. She goes, oh, no, you need a vacation. She goes, oh, I go on vacation at least 18 times a day. Whenever I need a break, all I do is I flip this down and I look at the island.
Exactly.
When I see the picture, I'm there.
Yeah, and it kind of harkens to me to the TV series with Sherlock and Benedict Cumberbatch, where he goes into his mind fortress. I was like, oh, this is like the mind fortress.
Let's not talk about that show. I hate that fucking show.
I know how to press your buttons, man.
I just hate you. I hate Benedict Cumberbatch. You know that.
I know. But and throughout the movie, and this is prevalent, we don't know, but we kind of get hints towards the fact that everything that Max knows has been sort of predetermined on how things are going to go. The only thing that was not predetermined is the fact that he's going to flip out. Because we have this scene with Jada Pinkett right there, and he tells her about the thing, and we got to get to know, she's...
Well, I was going to say real quick, we did gloss over one really fun and really good Easter egg for everyone.
Oh, cool.
The airport scene.
Yes. What about it?
Jason Statham.
Jason Statham was in this? Oh, no way.
Yes,
now I have to go back and watch.
He's the one that bumps into Tom Cruise. They both drop their briefcases, and it has been actually confirmed by the co-directors of the Transporter. That is Jason Statham's character in the Transporter. Interesting.
That's
right there.
Like
that's him.
That's an MCU thing, right?
Yeah. It has its own little sub-universe.
Exactly.
That's the coolest fuck little thing. If you think about it, makes perfect sense. They bump into each other and they go, "Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry." He grabs the briefcase. The transporter delivers what? Packages that no one else wants to deliver.
Exactly.
Given all the information that he needs for all the hits, no one else would want to deliver that. He did his job.
Exactly.
It's smart. Oh, that's smart.
Hold. Oh, never mind. The dishwasher just popped. Never mind. I heard beeping, and through these new headphones, I was like, "What the hell's going on?" It's interesting. So we get a little bit of background. We get a little bit of where Vincent goes out, looks for a cab, and Max is really into the island idea. He's in his mind fortress. Yes, I'm going to bring it up again.
Well, no, this is after he drops Annie off, and
he drops her off.
Annie and him have that conversation. This is where that whole setup comes in. So essentially, they wager on who can get there faster. He's like, well, I can get you there in this amount of time. Well, if I'm wrong, then your fare is free.
Your fare is free, exactly. And that's set up for what's the relationship he kind of has with Vincent, where he literally tells him, look, we're going to get there in seven minutes. And he was like, not 8, not 6. No, it's 7 minutes.
7 on the dot. Yeah.
On the dot.
But what's important about that interaction between Max and Annie is the fact that had that not occurred, Annie would be dead.
Yeah, perhaps. Well, I'm not so sure.
There's a lot of serendipity in this movie.
Yeah, there's I don't know.
Well, because
it's kind of hard for me to think she's not the last, because I think in the series where he's like targeting, okay, witness, prosecutor, it sounds better than just prosecutor and then all the witnesses.
Oh no, because that makes sense. No, Annie would still be last, but no one would be there to warn her.
That's true.
Without the relationship, without the interaction between Max and Annie, setting that up. Then the same thing with outside of the cab station when the cab area where Max drops Annie off outside of her building. They have that conversation when Max gives her the photo and be like, well, here, you need this more than I do. And then Annie gives him her number. Says, number. Hey, well, call me sometime. We can discuss cab routes again, jokingly, playfully, like a jab, like, hey, let's go on a date sometime kind of thing. Exactly. Which is like, oh, that's super cute. And he's in his own little la-la land there when Vincent walks by, walks in the cab, and this is also a bit of serendipity there too, where had Max not said a word, the same thing would have happened, where Annie would have ended up dead.
Yes,
because Max goes, "Hey, oh, I'm sorry, buddy. I was in my own head. Hey, yeah, I got you. Where you need to go."
So speaking of the not 8, not 6, but 7 minutes, we get a proposal from Vincent where he offers a double the amount that Max makes in a night. So he tells him, I think it's $350, yeah, something like that. And he says, look, $600. You're gonna drive me all night. I've got 6 spots. I'm into like a real estate deal, and we'll go. I'm gonna move past to the first interaction, which comes in like real close to that scene where Max is just sitting there and suddenly a fucking dead body lands on the cab.
Yes, this is Ramon. Yeah.
Yeah, Ramon pops in and he asks, "What the hell? Did you push him out?" And it's like, "No, he fell."
No, I shot him, then he fell.
Fell out. Yeah. And suddenly Max realizes he is dealing with a whole another character.
And he goes, "Hey, listen, just here's the keys. Take the cab." Goes,
yeah.
Oh exactly. No, you're good at your job. No. I'm going to need you to help me with this.
Exactly. And it starts the trip where everything from the here on end escalates a little bit further and a little bit further and a little bit further. Now, the one thing, I think, yeah, we'll move on ahead. After that kind of passes, we see Mark Ruffalo's character coming in. He's like the DA cop. He's an LA cop. Ramon's the is it CI?
Yeah, SI? Yeah. He's a CI. He's a confidential informant. He's a CI. Yeah.
So he goes in. He sees that he's not there. He realizes something's wrong. He sees the glass and everything, and he calls the cops.
Well, by the way, he looks out and sees the water stain, and then there's a big giant blood stain.
Yeah, I totally forgot that Peter Berg was once an actor.
Yeah. Yep.
I was like, oh shit, It's Peter Berg.
Yes, just so you know, his character's name is Detective Richard Winder.
Really?
Yes. Why do I know that? I don't know.
He's like, he comes in, they have sort of interaction, and also you get a little bit of snippet of information about the fact that he tells him I don't remember if it's in this interaction or later on, that he tells him that there was a cabbie who
no, that's later.
That's later on, but he does tell him about a cabbie that killed
there was a case a couple years ago where there was a cabbie that just like was like, I remember the case down in Oakland where he went around the city, he killed 3 people and then shot himself. It's like, yeah, but he had no record of it or anything. It's like, that never made sense to me. It's like, exactly. Oh wow, I see what's going on here.
It's sort of a tell for us. Oh shit, Max is literally going to get killed tonight.
Either way,
no matter what,
Vincent was going to kill him.
Yeah.
But I do love the fact that the entire time Vincent is goading him. Vincent's goading Max, going like, "Hey, you should live your life more. You should live your life more." It's like, because he tells her like, "Yeah, that woman that you met, you should call her. You have to call her. You have to start living your life."
Exactly. I think, by the way, that scene where he tells him to call her, it's not because Max is not going to survive. It's the fact that he saw the name on the card.
Yeah.
Right? So if he saw the name of the card, he knows she's not going to survive the night. If everything goes to plan, she's not going to survive the night. So if Max is going to survive, at least he'll have that interaction, but he's not going to survive if everything goes to plan.
If everything goes according to plan,
are not going to survive.
Yeah.
But at least he'll do.
They could have that one bit of human,
one little human connection. Exactly.
Yeah.
So the next target, it was kind of weird because.
Well, then you have to go into Vincent's whole spiel of adaptation.
Yeah. We can go into that right now. I don't think it's this. It's after the second killing. I think he says that.
No, it's this one. It's after this one where he goes, well, this is the whole thing. After they put the body in the trunk, where he says, you have to learn how to adapt to your new situations. Darwinism, I Ching. Which, oddly enough, Max utilizes in his conversation with Felix.
Felix, yeah.
Who is played by who?
Javier Bardem.
Yes, a very young Javier
very,
Bardem.
Very young Javier
Before
Bardem.
No Country for Old Men.
Like a couple of years, 3 years, not
4 years.
4 years? Was
4
it
years? Almost 5 years.
Oh, 2007 was it?
2008.
Never mind.
Yeah. But.
So, what we got? Do you want to discuss the favorite scene, the best scene in the movie, where he literally tells him about adaptation and you have to go with the flow and maybe do some changes? No, we can
actually
go on.
Actually, I don't think that's the best scene in the movie.
Which scene is the best scene in the movie?
The cab ride after the getaway from Club Fever. Where the
all right, so let me go over the story and then all right, I got you.
Go.
We'll go over the quick story. So the second target is basically something that is kind of subverting your expectation, where you think, oh, he's going to this building, he's going to kill someone in the building and then come out and then we're going to go. No, it's literally he was waiting for people to mug Max, be unattended.
Oh no, he killed someone in that building.
He killed? No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did. He killed the lawyer in that building.
Didn't he kill? No, the lawyer was the lawyer was the guy who actually pointed the gun at Max.
No, that was a random street thug.
No, that was a lawyer turned criminal.
No, the lawyer was in the penthouse. They that's why they showed the scene of the guy in the penthouse with the 2 women on the couch. That Max was literally zip tied.
Scene?
Yeah, Max was zip tied to the steering wheel there,
Oh,
and he was
I'm an
pounding his
idiot.
head
I'm an
against
idiot.
the
Yeah, I'm an idiot.
against the steering wheel to get the attention, and he just randomly happened to get some random street thugs that came over and got him, and
Yeah.
the first thing they did was they mugged him, essentially.
But the thing is, Mark Ruffalo, when he discovered the bodies, he literally discovered these two bodies first.
Nope, nope. Those bodies are in the morgue.
Yeah, Mark Ruffalo discovered these two bodies because the guy who was dealing with the morgue, he told him, "Look, I've seen like something
Yeah,
really
yeah.
weird. Look at this body and look at this body." And it's like, "Oh
It's the
shit."
same bullet pattern, and the
And
third
that
body was the guy that was in the penthouse.
oh, okay.
Was the
I
they said that
I
the lawyer for
did I not
criminals
tell
now a
you?
criminal
Did I not tell you I had a very rough week?
rough week. Yeah.
Very rough week. Very rough week. But I'm showing this scene. This is right after the scene where he literally talks to those two thugs, and he actually had a John Wick moment,
Yeah.
like a very rudimentary John Wick moment where he pulls the gun, shoots the guy, shoots the other guy,
Literally,
execution style.
the same two thing where it's tap tap sternum headshot.
Tap tap head. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know you can laugh at me all you want, chat. You can laugh all you want, chat, but it is what it is. So we're going to the next point because I want to get to our first segment of the night.
The scene where they are actually at Ramone's, which is right after this.
Yes.
Is what the one line that Mark Ruffalo says before the jazz scene, which by the way, I love this scene.
Yeah.
Mark Ruffalo says, "Oh yeah, Ramon was," because he's talking to Peter Berg's character Widener. He says, "Oh yeah, Ramon was so depressed, he decided to commit suicide by jumping off a 4-story building, landing headfirst, then woke up and said, 'Oh, now I feel okay,' and then walked away because there's no body."
Yeah, and they don't. And what they did, what drove me crazy is you don't realize there is a glass pattern in a square glass pattern that is missing a car or a dumpster somewhere.
Something, yeah.
Yeah, something square.
There's even a blood stain on the ground.
On the ground, and yet next to a lot of debris and a missing something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did overlook one scene where in between hit 1 and 2, there was a small interaction between them and the LAPD.
Yeah, that's
they
where
pull him over because the windshield was busted.
That's where we get. Oh yeah. They pull over Max and because he's got a broken taillight, and
the windshield was
yeah, something was
shattered.
blown, and they didn't actually get to it. He tells them to go to
take it back
to the station, to the garage, and get it fixed, because otherwise I'm gonna have to.
Because they were this far away from getting killed by Vincent, because they randomly got a random call where there's just like, hey, this is an emergency, you have to go respond to this.
They have to go to Ramone's.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So we're moving on to the third hit, which seems benign, right? It seems like, we have some time to kill.
No, because he said,
let's go to a jazz club.
We're way above time. I know a great place. Do you like jazz? There's a good place in Crenshaw. Let me buy you a drink. And they go, and this is bringing back those conversations that we've been having back and forth behind the scenes, Meth, about Bebop. Yeah. I'm just like, I remember why I love this movie so much. Like,
the music. Well, you can discuss. Well, this is the musical scene, but all throughout the movie, there are so many different genres of music.
Yeah.
There's like the more techno electronic style. There's more of a jazz style. There's a lot of mix and match between different eras, different places, but it's all like facets of, like we said, LA as a setting, because LA is not a cohesive city. It's literally built out of blocks of different things. You got Hollywood, you got East LA, South Central, you got
you have Hollywood, and you
you
have
got Beverly
Hollywood
Hills and all
and
that
West
stuff.
Hollywood. You have Venice.
Exactly. So it's all
everything.
different facets, all different places as well. You got the Santa Monica Piers where that sort of thing happens, and it's all different things happening in just one city.
What's really funny too is that not only works on the musicality, but it goes back to what Vincent mentioned in his first interaction with Max in the cab.
That's where I was going for.
Because he goes, as soon as I arrive in LA, I can't wait to leave. He's like, well, why? Because this place is too vast.
Yeah, it's too big.
It's too disconnected.
Actually, because I'm a big fan of Joe Rogan, he has been saying that for literally years, way before he left to fucking Texas or whatever. He was saying that since like 2016, where it's too many people compressed together, and it sometimes feels like it's choking you. And when you leave, you actually feel you can breathe air, and not because of you're not breathing smog anymore. It's literally because there's just too many people in one place. It's just too much. At least that's what he said. But you can tell that from what Vincent says, where I kind of I dig the city, but I just want to leave as soon as I come here.
Oh no, Vincent absolutely abhors the city.
Oh yeah,
he hates LA.
All right.
But anyway, moving on to the jazz scene, because they have a minor conversation about
Miles
Western.
Davis.
Well, no, before it Max and Vincent have a conversation about like jazz musicians that are really popular that were like really influential, that came from the West Coast before they go to the club. And as they go to the club, one of the numbers they're playing is actually a riff on one of those. It's, as a big huge music fan, like I was like, oh wow, I know what scales they're playing. Oh, that's cool as shit.
that kind of harkens back to me, as because I like jazz in terms of like casual listening, but I'm not really into it. I can appreciate the fact that they're riffing off of each other. That's what jazz is literally like the different instruments riffing on each other. But the fact that it kind of harkens to what Vincent said in the car, where you have to adapt and move and shift. It kind of leads you to where, it's like jazz. So it fits in what he said to where they are. But it literally turns on his head when you realize, he's actually there to kill one of the guys, the main guy who was doing the trumpet. And the fact that
which I find funny too is the fact that us as the audience and Max, and especially obviously the Mark, they don't know. Well, Daniel Baker is his name, but we don't know us out of the three of them. The big real audience has no idea that he's there to kill this man.
Yeah, because all he said was, we have time to kill. Yeah. I don't think he said time to kill, but we have some time.
We have some time.
We have some time. Let's go to a bar. It's like, it's literally lulling the audience into
a false sense of security.
Like relaxing, because it was after a tense moment with Ramon, tense moment with the muggers, tense moment with the cops that nearly caught them both. And now, it's time to breathe. And an instant, it was like over.
Well, that and Tom Cruise playing like Vincent as the cool, calculated sociopath that he is. He randomly just gives a tip to a waitress and says, "That trumpet player, he's amazing." And he gives her, I think it was $100 bill, and goes like, I let me know I want to have a drink with him once the set's done." And that's what leads up the next scene.
And the only inclination that something is going to go wrong, maybe you're maybe you thought about it. If you're watching this for the first time, you probably didn't think about it unless you're a real movie buff, where you see the Vincent looking like this, leaning over, and the next thing we see is the waitress going into the back. That's where it was to me. It's like, oh shit, it's going to go down, right? When I first watched it for the first time, like years ago, and after rewatching it again, it seems so obvious that he's lulling them to sleep, as in even the audience was like, oh, shit's going to go down. And of course he gets marked.
And they have that amazing conversation about Miles Davis, which that obviously was a made up story, but it seems like something that is so quintessentially Miles Davis. If you've read any stories about Miles Davis or his, like, I've read his biography, I've read everything about Miles Davis. I love Miles Davis, but everything about him was like, this fits him down to a T. So obviously the screenwriter did their homework. They knew, even if they're making up a fictional story, like they knew what to say, and even setting up that the big ending there between the two of them, where he just asks, so listen, yeah, it was like, yeah, I'm a cool guy, yeah, I'm so cool, I know people in this certain club,
yeah,
and as soon as he says that, Daniel Baker sets his drink down. He goes, oh, so you know them.
Oh, and yeah, that kind of,
So he knew he was dead.
He knew he was dead at that point. Yeah, exactly.
But he asked him, he was like, well, here, how about this? I'll ask you one jazz question.
And if you get it right,
you disappear, and I'll let you walk away. That's it.
Exactly.
He was like, trust me, if I get it right, I will go so far away from here, I might as well be dead.
Yeah. All right. So let's do a calculated stop, and we'll do our first segment of the night.
I want to end that one segment there, because this is so perfect. Because it personifies Vincent as a character.
Yeah.
As the perfect failsafe. He goes, so where did Miles Davis learn how to play music? And even Max goes, oh, it's music school. And Daniel Baker goes, yeah, he was enrolled in Juilliard. Well, his father was a farmer, and then he was sent to Juilliard in 1945, and then he just pulls out a gun, shoots him twice in the head.
Yeah,
it's like, what? Max is like, what? No, he got it right. And he walks over, and he leans him down because he catches him before he falls over, not to alert anybody else. Puts his head down and goes, no, Miles Davis was at Juilliard for 1 year, and then he met Charlie Parker, and then he studied under him for 3 years.
Yeah. So
even though he got it right, he got it wrong in Vincent's eyes.
Which didn't really matter, but okay. Anyway,
because Max even asked him the question. Sorry, one last thing. Max even asked him the question outside. He goes, well, he got it right. He goes, well, not technically. He was like, but even if he did get it right, would you let him go? Vincent never answers him.
No, he didn't. He did not.
Because he wouldn't.
We, as the audience, know the answer.
Yeah.
Right. So, first segment of the night is textless poster quiz. We'll call it that. Where I show all my feelings and our chat right here. A few a series of posters that have their text removed, or some sort of a promotional poster from the movies, and we guess which movie is this. I promise you'll get most of them right and really quick. I don't know how it happened, but it did.
Okay.
Wait. Before I know you know the answer. Let's go. I just wanted to move us below instead of sideways.
I don't.
You don't know what this is?
No.
Come on, chat. Are you? Don't lie to me.
I know that's Forrest Whitaker, Jeremy Renner, and Amy Adams, but
yes,
it's obviously some kind of alien film that I did not see. So
really, I know Biffer probably screams right now. Well, he'll probably scream in about 20 seconds.
Yeah, but
Saf, maybe Saf knows. No? Chat is letting me down tonight. No, yes it is. Look at him. Look at him. Arrival.
Never even heard of it. Deadpool 2.
It's not that good in my eyes. I've seen it twice. It's not that good.
Yeah, but that's Deadpool 2. I mean,
that's Deadpool 2. Wow, I cannot believe it.
No, I know. I don't remember the name of the movie. I know the whole premise of it, though.
Okay.
Matt Damon. A super advanced soldier. And basically everyone on Earth is poor as shit. And
yes. And there's a big thing in the sky.
Giant civilization in the sky where they can actually save people's lives. I know it's not Edge of Tomorrow because that's the Tom Cruise Live Die Repeat movie.
Yes.
No, I can't remember the name of it.
Let's see if chat
Elysium.
Oh, Elysium. Here we go. Wow, YouTube chat is really weird. Anyway,
is that Jupiter Ascending?
It is Jupiter Ascending.
Oh my god, talk about a bad fucking movie.
This movie is terrible.
Is that just that's the original Kick-Ass?
That is the original Kick-Ass.
Is that just the Kingsman?
That is Kingsman.
Oh god, Lone Ranger.
Look, it's the crazy one and the cannibal.
Yay!
Yay!
That's Tomorrowland, right?
That is Tomorrowland. Nice catch. I've seen this movie only recently because of Mrs. Meth. She told me that I have to watch it.
Oh, God. The Singularity?
No, it's not the Singularity.
It's about the Singularity, though.
No, it's not. Yeah, chat is a little bit lagging. I know. Chat.
No, I thought this is the one where Johnny Depp plays a genius inventor that eventually dies and his AI becomes sentient.
Yes.
So it's kind of like. No, you got me on this one.
Well, chat is gonna.
I got the plot.
Mask of Zorro. What was Mask of Zorro? What, Lone Ranger?
No, he was thinking of that for the Lone Ranger.
It's not Continuum. It is Transcendence.
Transcendence.
All right, last one. Yes, I know it's a hard one. I can punch in if you like. I'll punch in.
Days of Future Past. X-Men, Days of Future Past.
Days of Future Past. Cool. Awesome. X-Men Days of Future Past. Not one of my favorite X-Men movie.
Oddly enough, that's one of the best ones.
Yeah, you said so many times before.
Many times.
In private and on the podcast. All right, cool. We are going to visit Mom. You know what? Let's go. Let's jump that in. So Vincent says, "Well, we have time now. Let's go visit." He
gets a call from dispatch.
Saying his mom is calling and he's not answering.
Constantly.
So Vincent says, "Well, we have to keep up the facade. Let's go visit the mom." They go
because if they start looking for you, we're gonna have problems.
Yeah, they go and visit the mom. He buys her flowers, and then he realized that it's a waste.
Basically, there's a whole setup there where basically Max has been kind of lying to her, saying that he already had the limo company already set up, but it's more of your mom's dying in a hospital bed. You just tell her whatever you want, and it's already been proven in the context of the film that she really doesn't want to hear anything other than what she wants to hear from him anyway.
Yeah.
So just placate her. It doesn't matter. But the one thing that Ida does say, that's one of the funniest lines of the whole movie, given the context.
Okay.
Beth, is Yeah, I know, my son. You have to put a gun to his head to get him to do anything.
Yeah, I love that part too.
Like,
Beautiful writing.
fucking
Yeah,
brilliant.
yeah, beautiful
Brilliant.
writing. So what happens is Max kind of gets emboldened, takes the special
Grabs
case,
his briefcase and
runs. One
runs.
of the first running scenes that we have with Tom Cruise as
And
well.
here we get the personification of every single Tom Cruise movie that he's ever been in since the first Mission Impossible, where he has to I have to run a marathon at least once in this film. Let's go.
Exactly. So they do a running thing, and Max throws the briefcase with all the information about the targets.
The attaché, everything.
Yeah,
over the onto the freeway, and it semi hits
either
it.
The 101 or the 405, whichever one it is, because this is LA. It must have been either this one or that one.
Or that one.
Yeah. I was kind of thinking about it because I do consume a lot of culture that comes from LA. I was like, yeah, it's either the 101 or the 405. Never have I ever seen it ever in real life, but
and
I
you've
know
never driven on
those
it,
roads exactly.
I will just say this: you've never been there, you've never driven on it. Be happy for both.
Yeah, I've heard that before as well. And we have this where it's like
he grabs it and goes, "Wow, you surprised me."
Yeah.
And Max is thinking right now, Vincent's gonna kill me. Instead, Vincent looks and goes, "Let's see what else you can do."
Yeah, exactly. Which is very interesting because it's subverting your expectation, because two scenes before that, you got like something completely different. And that's something that is prevalent in this movie up to a certain point. I think it's up to the point where Max kind of succeeds in getting the new files for Vincent. Up till that point, it's
no. Him getting the new files is right after this.
No. I mean, up to that point where he gets the files, the movie can subvert your expectation of what's going to happen next, because it's like I said, it's lulling you to a certain state, either relaxed or tense, and you're kind of and then it flips on you.
Yeah.
So we go, and we kind of don't know where Max is going, because all we know is Vincent they go to that club, and you go in, you talk to that guy, and you get the files, and you go out. Why aren't you doing this? Because I told you.
Well, because it's already like it gets set up throughout that entire interaction, where Max is not only frisked from the get-go, trying to even get in is a nightmare. Just using Vincent's name, lets him know that Felix is letting him in, because otherwise he wouldn't even gotten in to begin with.
Exactly. And of course we're jumping through like a few setups here where we also get the setup of the FBI running the place. Suddenly this guy comes in and it raises all sorts of red flags. But we go into this point.
Now getting to there, which
up to a certain point.
See here though, the reason why Vincent didn't want to go in himself is because he did not know what Felix was going to do. Because Felix could have killed him right there. He went, no. That's why he said, let's see what else you can do. Let's see if you can act your way through this.
Yeah, exactly. And he actually tells him that. And he goes in, and there's a certain point, like we said, it's lulling you into a state where, oh shit, Max is not leaving that place. Yeah. And suddenly, on a dime, Max kind of finds his balls from somewhere, and he's acting.
Because this is after he says he has that little conversation where Felix tells him the story about the burro, the Santa's little helper that leaves little burro. Yeah. And he goes like, so how pissed off would Santa be if you lost the list?
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I can tell you right now, you should tell that guy behind me to put the gun away before I take it and I bitch slap his ass with it.
And like I said, everything turns on a dime like that. And it seems like Max realizes, oh, I need to be Vincent in terms
Yes.
of intimidation
I
and
need to do
manner of
what here,
speaking. Yeah.
Meth? I need
What?
to adapt.
Adapt and move. And that's the same exact thing that Vincent told him
Uh,
in the car.
so he said, well, what he tells him, he said, I got a tail. Who was it? I don't know. That's why I ditched the case to make sure that it did not get back to you. I'm trying to protect you.
Yeah.
You have to adapt. Was it Darwin I
Yeah.
Ching utilizing Vincent's own words in context?
I want to get to a certain point where it's a throwaway. It's like a throwaway thing for me, but I can't really. Never mind. So there's a point where they go to Club Fever, and Max is in a red light, and there's
Well,
basically not a lot of traffic. So there's coyotes running around. You remember that scene?
yeah.
It's a very throwaway scene. You can literally take it out of the movie and it will do nothing. But the director really wanted to tell us something because coyotes is one of those animals where if you kill a coyote, they would literally if it's a male or a female, the female of the pack or the females of the same pack will immediately go into heat and reproduce. So if you kill one coyote, you literally have 5 coyotes in a matter of weeks. That's how coyotes work, right? The thing is, it's trying to teach us about relentlessness.
Mm-hmm.
Vincent is very relentless. Yes, I've gone into a little bit more of a metaphorical thing. Yes,
No, you're right.
but again, it's a sort of a scene where the average viewer, like the average viewer going into this movie, is like, oh yeah, LA has got a problem with coyotes and stuff. And no, it's also telling us a little bit about what Max is thinking at this moment, where
Yeah.
he knows the guy behind him is super relentless and he will do whatever he needs to do to get. And that's exactly why I said when they go into Club Fever, by the time they go into Club Fever, there is no lulling the audience to doing somewhere.
No.
There's no going
No.
into
No. The facade, the
like
mask is completely slipped off.
exactly. There's no tense moment and relaxed moment to lull you into some sort of a state. That thing
No.
is done.
I would say
It's
the
all
only
tense. It's all tense all the time, all action from here to the end of the movie.
yeah, but there is one little bit there. The reason why there's the dichotomy between the two factions in here, both Max and Vincent, and the FBI and the police, because they take the footage of Max going into Felix's club, and the FBI is like, oh, he's Vincent. Oh, he's Vincent,
Yeah.
because they bring down his voice clip down to realize that he says, I'm Vincent.
Yeah.
Now they have nothing else to go off of besides that and the fact that, oh, the cab
Yeah.
and the pattern between where they have been going the entire night.
And the one thing that sticks out is the fact that Mark Ruffalo's character is sort of the truth sayer, the guy who figures it out
Yep.
before anybody else, but he seems like alone in this whole thing where his lieutenant doesn't believe it. Like Peter Berg's character does not believe him. The FBI brushes him off as an LA cop. So what the fuck?
He doesn't know anything.
Get
Yeah.
out of here, dude. And the only guy he connects to is Max in the Fever disco. And by the time you see connection, Mark Ruffalo's character is either dead or severely wounded.
Oh, he's dead. Oh, he's definitely dead.
Yeah, because Vincent's
that pattern right there. Yeah. No, he would have been dead. But
yeah.
Anyway, so we move on to get everyone in Club Fever where they have the two different perspectives between the two.
And this is what I wanted to talk about, the shades of John Wick, like we said at the beginning in the intro, where you sort of see once the shit hits the fan and Vincent goes into like assassin mode,
mm-hmm.
this is a very minor reminiscent, even though there's a lot of wide shots, there's not a lot of cuts, and you can see the tactical shooting and everything. It's less, like I said, it's very rudimentary compared to John Wick, where in John Wick they incorporated both jujitsu training, weapons, tactical weaponry, close quarters, and all that stuff.
Well, he actually went through a very rigorous Krav Maga training too.
That goes into it too, but this is where this is where the John Wick is more, let's say, more theatrical, and then this one is very rudimentary, where it's,
I think, you know, with goes by John Wick, you can tell it's supposed to be an action movie. In this one, it's a tad bit more realistic. Yeah, granted, it's still wildly unrealistic overall.
Yeah, I know.
But it's more grounded than John Wick would be.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's very grounded, very basic, very much. But you can see shades of, oh, this looks like that scene, or this kill looks like the other kill, and look, he shoots them here, and here, and the sort of the sounds of the gunfire, it's basically the same, not in terms of, all guns basically sound the same, but not there's a rhythm where the guy shoots, it's like pow pow pow, so like 2 chests, 1 head. It's also the rhythm of how it goes. I don't know if you've picked up on it. I did.
Oh no,
well, because I like action movies.
It's the firing pattern. It's the
firing pattern. Exactly. The firing pattern is also the rhythm of the sound that goes into your head where you when you're watching it. So there's a big hubble-baloob, and everything. You
mean hubble-baloob?
Hubble-baloob. Yeah.
Mess over here making up words. Anyway, this is actually my favorite scene in the whole movie.
This is after basically Vincent tells Max, well, look, what do you want from me? I saved you.
Well, because this is after, so...
This is after Club Fever.
Club Fever, when it's Detective Fanning, Mark Ruffalo's character, finds Max, says, and Max is going, no, I'm a cab driver. I'm like, no, listen, I know. Trust me, I'm LAPD. Just let me get you out of here. I believe you. You're not the guy who's doing this shit. Like, let's go. They get them out of the back door to the cabbie, and as soon as Max gets out, why he didn't see Vincent holding up the gun to shoot Detective Fanning, I don't know. That's a kind of little plot hole there. But as soon as Max moves out of the way, he shows Detective Fanning in the doorway. He's about to close the door, and bop, bop.
Yep.
2 in the sternum. Like, if anything, he's not severely wounded. He's fatally wounded. He's gonna bleed out. Like, he's dead.
Yeah, it's just the fact that they don't show it. It's like, you know me, when they don't show the guy dead, like, definitively, characters can always come back. Oh, he was wearing a fucking vest. You know what I'm saying? The fact that he is immaterial to the rest of the story,
which he should have been wearing a vest anyway, because it was a raid.
Yeah, exactly. All the FBI guys were wearing it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was like, I want to know more about the character, but literally, it has no effect to the rest of the story.
No, like, he
might as well be dead.
Yeah, he's cut off.
He can be alive. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
So we get to this point where it starts off with Vincent trying to goad Max into calling, is it Anna, right? Annie.
Yeah.
But he refuses because he's already on the very last edge of his, he's like, I cannot tolerate this anymore.
Well, what's funny is the two of them have this essentially like an existential debate.
Yeah.
Over the value of a human life, because they're both talking about how, well, Max's first statement is how, well, you didn't know him. He was a good man. He was trying to save me. He was like, well, and Vincent tells Max, well, I saved you.
Yeah.
And he goes, Well, then and Vince is telling him, well, we're all insignificant out here because we get to this point.
Yeah, we get to this point. That's exactly what I wanted to show, because it literally starts. Oh, it ramps up because Vincent kind of realizes either I'm going to be dead. He doesn't say it, but maybe he's thinking it. I could be fucking dead at the end of this thing. And also, if he's talking about how are we all insignificant, let's see how he feels when I'm really going to put it on him, because
Yeah.
I'm in control. He realizes he has more control than Vincent when they're in the cab itself.
Yeah. And he does say what Jamie Foxx has some great lines in this where he goes,
Yeah.
"Oh wow, look, I've got the big bad sociopath in my back seat."
And the fact that he realized that if
and
he
he said,
pushes the car a little bit further, and suddenly Vincent says, "Oh, well, you're gonna die, motherfucker." Vincent is gonna die.
yeah.
Yet he crashes the fucking car and nobody is dead.
Well, he does that on purpose, but we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
One thing he does say too is it's where inevitably gets to the point where Vincent is getting perturbed by Max because he's already pissed off at him, but he immediately starts just digging in and digging in and digging in and tell him like, oh well, all those dreams you had, you're never going to fulfill them.
Yeah.
Just like calling that girl, you're never going to call her either.
He literally tries to crash the facade that Max was building in his head for the past 12 years.
Yeah.
And he actually succeeds in doing it, but the fact that he does it kind of breaks Max.
Yeah.
He breaks him, and because he breaks him, he literally crashes the fucking car.
Well, what he does
kind of to him putting into real life the crash that is going on in his brain.
Well, before he says that one line, he goes, "Well, I do have to thank you for one thing, brother. I never thought of it that way. I never thought the way that you think." He goes,
exactly.
Well, what's going to happen? Because then he just starts speeding up, and he's going like 60 or 70, and
yeah,
it's going to turn out real bad.
Yeah.
So that he flips the car.
And you would, well, in terms of movie stuff, it always happens in movie where they literally total a car and they walk out, maybe limping a little bit. The fact that literally Vincent came out of there full, like bloodied up, having not wore a seatbelt, and he is okay. All he's missing is like a gun. It's just too ridiculous. I mean,
yeah,
yes.
that's where a lot of the critiques in this movie really come up, because they say that really it's the second and third act in this movie, which I think this overall is a great movie, which we're going to get into the wrap up. But the second and third act really kind of fall apart because how grounded it was from the beginning to where it got to now, it gets progressively more and more unrealistic.
Where do you end the second act?
I would say the second act would end at, I would think, the beginning of Club Fever.
Really? Because I would think the second act kind of ends after Club Fever, because
that's fair. Yeah.
You've got the setup, and the first, maybe the end of the jazz club is where it starts the second act, where they go into the hospital and there's a change where it turns into the worst, and then it goes backwards after it. Kind of the third act kind of begins where we got the realization of Max. So I personally, I don't think the second act is not grounded. It is grounded, but I don't know. There's some inconsistencies, because Max is docile after the hospital scene, but he was already breaking out of his shell.
Oh no, I'm not
during
referring to that. I'm
scene.
referring to the extenuating circumstances. I mean, the action scenes and everything involved. It gets ramped up to a degree where it becomes unbelievable. Where it's like, okay, I could understand this in a way where they weren't immediately shot on site.
Yeah, I guess it literally, Club Fever is sort of an outtake of this movie where it's a little bit, not a little bit, a lot more action based John Wick style and less a psychological thriller, which on the whole you would say, yeah, it's sort of a psychological thriller of sorts.
There is another scene. It's the last few scenes in the film where it again goes a little bit off the rails, but we'll get to
again
that.
we can start with this where literally they step out of the car and we've got the cop kind of coming to Max saying,
how unbelievable them surviving this car accident. Both of them are actually still cognizant. They're not unconscious.
Yeah, exactly. And the cop kind of figures out, he goes into he sees
he sees the dead body in the trunk.
He sees the dead body and immediately goes into cop mode where suddenly a black guy is a suspect. Oh, surprise, surprise.
Well, no. Originally, he's trying to help him, but at this point, I do have to defend this police officer at this point because
I know I was joking.
I know. Relax. It's supposed to be a facetious joke, but I mean, like seriously though, he was actually like being.
Yeah, he was trying to help him.
Genuinely caring officer. Like, are you sure you're okay? Let me call you an ambulance.
To sit down, relax till the ambulance gets here. Let's this. But when he checks the car,
sees the corpse.
That's where everything. Yeah, he sees the corpse. Like, oh shit! And he immediately does the switch. Yes, I know. It's facetious and it was a joke. Relax. I know. Relax, everybody. It was a joke. But then Max goes into like sort of something that you wouldn't realize where he was like, oh shit, I need to get to Annie and Warner.
Well, he looks down and he sees the last hit that's on Vincent's tablet there. Well, his own personal dispatch laptop there, where it just shows that Annie was going to be the last hit. And immediately he goes like, well, judo throw.
Yeah. He judo throws the cop. And the cop
gets the gun that's underneath and is like, and the one thing I do love is in that conversation, the cop's like, just put the gun down. And what does Max say? I don't remember this being in a negotiation.
Why didn't the cop immediately shoot?
I don't know.
Kind of unbelievable there.
Yeah.
All right.
But he gets him, and then he runs towards Annie's building.
He calls her. He doesn't get like a cell. That kind of really pissed me off because he could have had the same reception on the street as if it was
the same
on the roof of that building next to her building.
He wasn't even on a roof. Dumb. He was on the floor. He's on the street still.
No, he's not. He's on the roof of a building close to her building.
Oh, in the parking garage, yeah.
It's a parking garage.
It looks like it, but he's up like 2 floors.
Yeah, but he's like, oh, I don't have a cell reception. Let me go up this building.
And also, this is after our protagonist randomly mugs a guy.
Yeah,
he's like, phone. And the guy goes, hey, wait. He just points a gun and the guy just runs away.
Yeah. So he warns Annie, and he magically transport himself quicker than what Vincent gets to her 2 floors up.
Well, they're not in the same building, to be fair.
No, they're not. No,
the most magical thing would be how Vincent got to where Annie is faster than how Max got to where he is.
Yeah, it's a bit. There's a lot of
little timey-wimey stuff there.
Yeah, timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly. Oh,
but Vincent does get to the floor and he breaks in, but unfortunately, she's up in the library and actually has her cell phone routed to call up to there because she's a very important district attorney. So
And instead of going straight to her, what he does, he goes and breaks the fucking electricity in the whole place in order for her to, I don't know what, stay in the same place while there's a blackout and she knows somebody's coming. I didn't understand the
Well, at that
logic.
point, Vincent doesn't know that she knows that she's been warned.
She sees that she's talking on the phone.
Well, yeah, but she could be talking to anybody. She just sees that there's a light on that floor, and that's it.
What I'm trying to get to is chase scene, Tom Cruise running yet again.
Yeah.
And
and this is also where
see, I got you. Exactly.
Look, go Tom Cruise, go.
Okay, I'm moving forward. So there's a big chase scene where he chases them off. They think they got scotch free, but they realize he's still there. They kind of avoid him. Blah blah blah.
They get on the metro, which oddly enough plays back into a story that gets repeated at the very end of the film that Vincent first told Max as kind of a joke about how much he hates the city.
Yeah, this is where he hates the city, and he gives them a reason. The reason is, I heard about this guy who died on the metro, and he slumped over, and nobody
rode around the city
gave a shit, and he rode around the LA County around and around and around for 3 days until the body stench kind of took over, and they found out he's dead. That kind of harkens back to the end of this is where I love, and we talked about this in numerous podcasts, where I love a random setup at the beginning of the movie
and a payoff,
kind of pays off in so good in storytelling. It's how it pays off at the end, and it seems like a random kind of story that, it was intertwined with how he hates LA and how indifferent everybody is, and how that happened because everybody's indifferent, to the fact that, oh shit, it's going to happen to Vincent because he's going to die there. And how he died.
This is the other unbelievable thing, where
that is
another
a trained thing in this entire
hitman who has been able to kill so many people with effortless grace, by the way. It's almost just ingrained in his mind. Like his mind is basically turned off, and it's all just motor function there.
Yeah,
he's able to do it so many times, so very, very easily. And here, no. This is the other thing, that the other scene where, again, they say that the third act, also falls apart completely, and this is it.
Yeah, I think we'll touch upon that when we sum up the movie, where they literally stand, I don't know, 3 feet apart?
About
3 feet apart, maybe a little bit further, doesn't really matter. And there's a door that blocks the view, but there's a screen. So they can see each other, and there's a power shut off because of they run through some sort of a cable, I guess. And they literally fire at each other randomly. Now, you would expect Max to not know how to shoot, so he's just all over the place, right? But Vincent has a clear view of Max just before there's the light shuts off. You would expect maybe not going for the head because there's a door there, but like shoulders, maybe, because Max is literally in the middle. Yeah. And if they shoot exactly in the middle, they would hit the doors, right?
Yeah.
So they shoot through the glass, and I would expect both of them to be hit the same way Vincent was hit. So Vincent got hit on the side, on the liver.
You know what? I think they really did a kind of a disservice here, and what I think that what should have been a better ending was everyone. They wanted to have a happy ending for Max. They did.
Of course.
But you know what would have been a far better ending?
They're both got
Was
hit. And they both died.
They both got hit, they both died, and they both tell that same story to each other. Because Vincent, at the end of that, he goes, "Hey, I wonder how long it's going to take him to find me."
Yeah.
If they both kind of laugh.
This is exactly where I put this.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Think anybody would notice.
Yeah.
Because that's like, that's just such a beautiful payoff, but it's such a bad ending. I think.
And see that had they both have been shot and they were both sitting there and Annie gets away at the end, that would have been a perfect wrap up to the story.
Exactly.
And it would have made at least some modicum of sense.
Give me your honest opinion before we do the next segment and we do the wrap up. Give me your honest opinion why the writing team and the director went with the happy ending. Because this is not a happy-go-lucky movie where it starts off kind of benign, then it goes bad, and then on the third act, it kind of wraps up, happy ending, guy saves girl, blah, blah, blah. I would expect a psychological thriller like this to end with both guys bleeding to death.
Yeah.
Where, in your opinion, why do you think they went there?
I think they did that because of the entire setup of Max as a character. They wanted that full character progression of him, and at the end, they wanted that kind of the way it's sort of subversive in a way, but for how much talk Vincent did, Max was the one that was really living the hard life. He was the one that was really struggling.
Yeah.
Because he was struggling to try to pursue his dream and everything. And at this point, too, modern films weren't exactly, in 2004, they weren't about having these big sort of blockbuster sort of movies have less than happier endings.
Yeah.
So I think the studio came in, and I think this was a reshoot. I don't have any evidence to prove that, but I would have to.
It could be a studio decision. It could be a studio decision because there's a lot of those studio decisions where you don't know it's a studio decision, and it's kind of weird and anti-thematic.
Well, it's antithetical to the entire premise of the film itself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, because the last scene in the film could have been them writing on that, and it could have cut to Annie at her desk looking at the picture of the island. And
I know
boom,
it
cut, and wow, that's a great fucking movie.
Applause, blah blah blah. Yeah, I know. It's.
But I will say I'll give. Because we're going to get to the wrap up very soon.
Yeah, we're wrapping up after this segment. Yeah,
but it's such a letdown that the premise of the film and how great the acting is in this movie, to have such a disappointing ending was just it's heartbreaking,
especially when just a little bit of a change in the writing or a little bit of a change in the scene. It's not that big of a change, but for me, it could have been fuck yeah. And
I think it's a complete and total tonal shift.
Yeah.
In the movie, it's a tiny change, but it changes the entire meaning of the whole film itself. Because do you know what it does then? Mm-hmm. It proves that Vincent was right.
That's true. God damn it. Anyway, we're gonna give our thoughts, but first, our second segment of the night is Cinema Deathmatch. And what is Cinema Deathmatch? Before I flip it on, Cinema Deathmatch is pretty simple. We take two movies that we've both seen. We pit them together and see which one is the best. If in all due matters, both of them are really, really good, The next criteria is Friday evening, Saturday evening, out with the boys, out with the girls, want to put something on. We've got only two choices. Which one is going to put in your long lost DVD player that does not exist anymore? Never mind. Anyway, no, I'm just kidding. Cinema deathmatch. It is the crowd can join in and be wrong, or be the tipping point. Now, I started this. I've set this up.
That's a good one.
I know. I literally I had two movies and I was like, and I want to start with a bang. So I clicked until I got this pairing: Die Hard 2 or Bad Boys 2.
Holy hell, that's a great pair.
Knowing Saf in the chat and maybe knowing a little bit of Biffer's choices from previous podcasts, this is going to be an interesting one. So please chime in.
Saf right now is his brain is just like falling apart right now. Ow, ow, ow. I honestly have to go Bad Boys 2. I think it's a much more fun movie.
I'm gonna go Bad Boys 2. I loved the original Bad Boys. I think Bad Boys 2 is a lot more actiony. I know the original Bad Boys was actiony, but it was also kind of a detective story. Kind of mixed into it, and like switching identities as well. It was a lot more of this, but this one was full on action, but it also had really, really, really great comedic segments.
Bits,
which really did it for me. So it's going to be Bad Boys 2.
I think in a lot of ways that I think Michael Bay wanted to emulate what franchise?
Lethal Weapon, maybe a little bit.
No, not Lethal Weapon.
What?
Chris Tucker.
Oh, Rush Hour.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, and also like I will always be thankful for the original Bad Boys, because I think it's the only film that has, besides a Mortal Kombat, that features KMFDM in the soundtrack.
All right, so we've got Platoon after it received the Oscars, obviously, and Bram Stoker's Dracula with Gary Oldman as Dracula.
And Keanu Reeves.
And
Winona Ryder.
And I think who plays Van Helsing in this one? Is it Anthony Hopkins? I don't remember.
I think so.
Is it him? Oh, no, never mind. Anyway.
I have to go with Platoon. Platoon's a great fucking movie.
I don't like this version of Dracula, honestly. Okay. I do appreciate how good of a movie it is. It is good in some points. Platoon is just great. It's not a haha feel good movie, but neither is Dracula.
It's Dracula, no.
Alice in Wonderland and Braveheart. Now, I admit it. Alice in Wonderland, and I said it before on this podcast, is my all-time favorite Disney movie.
But I think that means it's the only Disney movie that you'd watch then.
That it means it's the only Disney movie I would happily watch.
I still have to go with Braveheart. Personal history.
I didn't make my choice. I said the only Disney movie I like.
Even though Braveheart is wildly factually inaccurate on so many levels, it's still a fantastic film.
I think so too. It's just good. It's just good. It has a love story, action, intrigue, thriller, and deceit, and everything. Alice in Wonderland is just plain old good, but it's 1951 good. All right, Toy Story, the original, stand by. Great pairing. I'm going to go first. Toy Story is not a Disney movie.
It's a Pixar movie.
It was a Pixar movie before it was a Disney franchise. John Lasseter did an incredible job with this one. Technically, when it came out, wasn't my favorite thing to watch. I watched it way later, like way, way later. I think it was after 2000s as well. Stand By Me, though, is such a great favorite movie of mine. I cannot pick it over Toy Story. Both have so much heart in terms of storytelling, is unbelievable. They're so different. I'm going to go with Stand By Me.
I am also going to go with Stand By Me because we skipped it over a couple of times in some other tough picks. And
don't do that. If you want to pick Toy Story, that's fine.
No. Of the two, though, I would rather watch Stand By Me. And it's also, guess what? Another Stephen King story.
Another Stephen King story. Crash and Saw. Now, I have a caveat here, and I'll go first.
Oh, yeah.
Did not like either of these movies. I think Crash, even though it got a lot of praise, and I think it won plenty of Oscars.
Oh, yes, it did.
I don't think it deserved it.
No, sorry.
It's a very much an LA movie. Very much an LA movie. I would go with Saw, even though I don't like horror and I don't like gore. I just can't stand Crash.
I will actually have to agree with you on that. I think Crash is a movie that was good at its time, but looking at it retrospectively, it is so preachy.
Yeah.
It's like it's insufferably like, we get it. I understand your message. We get the whole point.
It didn't age well for me. It really didn't age well for me.
Saw,
I know
though,
technically speaking, Crash is the better movie in terms of cinematography, storytelling, all that stuff. I'm well aware of that. It's just that it is just if you put it one against the other one and I have to watch one of them, I would rather watch the gory, stupid shit rather than watching the preachy, I'll tell you a story shit.
Now, the only thing that I will say on Saw's behalf is the impact that it had over the next up to now.
Yeah.
On horror as a genre. This movie not only was a low budget, high grossing film, this movie did so well, it's absurd.
I know.
It's actually the best acted of the entire genre, really. Of the kind of like what they call the torture porn genre.
Yeah. To be perfectly honest, this did more to the horror genre, not more, but this kind of, I don't want to say ride the train of Scream, but
I think what it did, it had the same impact that Scream had.
That's
Scream
where
had
I was
in
going
a
for.
Completely different way.
That was exactly where I was going for. It did an impact, and then the horror genre changed once again.
Yeah.
All right. It's going to be last pairing, Die Hard 2 or Sherlock Holmes with RDJ, with Robert Downey Jr. This is who directed this? Is it Zack Snyder?
No.
Who directed this? The other guy.
Lock, Stock.
Really? Edgar Wright did this?
Edgar Wright.
No, Guy Ritchie.
Rock and Rolla. Yeah, it's Guy Ritchie.
Guy Ritchie. Yeah. What say you, friend? Die Hard 2 or Sherlock Holmes?
I am not a big fan of Die Hard 2, but I will watch that any day over Sherlock Holmes.
I used to really love Die Hard 2 until I saw Die Hard 3. And I would pick Die Hard 2.
Yep.
All right. Oh, shit. Dude, no, another pairing, because Goonies or Con Air.
Okay.
I have to say one thing. Put the bunny back in the box.
Oh, mine's a polar opposite.
No. Trust me.
again.
Yeah, I know definitely gonna pick Goonies because I just love that sentence from Con Air. It's definitely Goonies any day of the week.
Well, that and Steve Buscemi playing the kind psychopath serial killer.
Yeah. That's all right. Okay, let's wrap things up here. Give us your summary, and I'll give mine.
Again, I think this movie is absolutely fantastic until about an hour and 10 in. Then it
So
starts to
for you is before the fever, the club fever.
set up to club fever, where it kind of starts to really fall apart. I believe that this was obviously clearly a breakout performance for Jamie Foxx. He was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for it, obviously, because God. And thinking of this, when you think of certain roles in films, I think of Max Ducher the same way I think of Antoine in Training Day.
Oh,
Jamie Foxx is Max. Denzel
is Denzel,
and that's it. Like that's I cannot imagine anyone else in that role. And seeing and reading about all of the miscasting and how they wanted to pick other people for these roles, I can't imagine them in these roles after watching these performances.
Yeah,
Just can't.
yeah. As when it comes to me, like I said, I think I watched this not in the theater. I watched this for free when it came to like cable TV. Cause this is one of those movies where I wasn't excited to go watch in a theater, and I said, "Well, it's not like somebody's gonna spoil this movie for me. It's not one of those movies where you get them spoiled, not
Yeah.
in like 2004 especially, but I was like, I watched it, I loved it at the time, but and I watched it again since, and I watched it this week, and like we said numerous times, when you watch something critical, it kind of you kind of watch the movie at a different state. You look for things. You may have discovered things. Like I discovered a lot of things that I kind of forgot. And one of the things is, yeah, the ending of the movie doesn't make sense to me. Like we said, it should have been them both killing each other, and then being that body that rolls around and nobody notices, rather than just Vincent. I think that the action sequences at Club Fever did something. I don't think it's out of place. I think it's definitely in place, where shit has definitely hit the fan, because it's sort of an escalation from the point where Max kind of finds his nerves a little bit, finds his courage after the hospital scene with Vincent.
Yeah.
That kind of escalates into what happens in Club Fever, because it one leads to the other, leads to the other, leads to the other. And it kind of detaches away from the fact that we were on sort of a roller coaster of killing and deaths, where you have Ramon and the lawyer, and then the thugs, and then the jazz guy. And it was kind of a roller coaster till then, where we knew more than Max kind of knew, and it became, we're okay, we're both at the same level of acknowledgement of what's going to be next. And the fact that it started off with lulling you into some sort of a state, and then suddenly it literally stopped. And again, the ending does not make sense a little bit in terms of what Vincent is going to do and what Max is going to do. And it left me with a bad taste. I told you this, I think I told you this backstage. I'm at about 7. I was at about 9 when it came into it. As you know, it was this is a 9. This is an easy 9 for this movie. And I'm at a 7, because it was really good until one point, and then it fell apart, kind of left me with a bad taste.
Yeah.
And it was like, I don't think it's as good as it should have been. It's good. It's not as good as it should have been.
Now, I agree with you on, well, obviously I wholly agree with you, but I think another movie that is very similar to this in a way where you could cut it off at a certain point before it goes way off the rails. Leaving Las Vegas.
Ooh, I haven't watched that in a while.
When Nicolas Cage at the pool scene says, "I'm a prickly pear, I'm a prickly pear," cut the movie right there. Yeah. Cut the movie, because all the rest of it is just like, so we're going to make it as dark and as horrific as humanly possible.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll get to that. It's on the unofficial list, I think, right?
Yeah, it's on. Yeah, it's not on the docket yet, but it'll not be on up the docket. There. That's going to be a movie where it was like, so everybody want to feel bad about themselves for 2 hours?
Yeah, we're going to save that to like mid-May or something, a time of year where everybody feels
when the sun is out, not in the middle of winter.
So there's some point of like, oh, I can just go out and just enjoy.
We already have a couple of dark movies on the docket coming up already.
All right, so talking about next week on the US side, we're gonna have Thanksgiving weekend. So Oh My Feelings,
I'll see y'all in 2 weeks.
He's gonna enjoy himself. Next week, I still haven't decided, but what I'm going to probably do is I'm going to go solo podcast. It's going to be in the Reel McCoy setting. So it's going to be like this. But I'm going to review Ghostbusters Afterlife. No, I've yet to watch it because I realized like 5 days before it happened that they literally pushed back the movie a week in my country. It was publicized as the 18th, and for some reason, and I bought tickets, and it literally moved to the 25th. Don't know why, don't know how. I'll be trying to dodge and weave and not get spoilers, but I've already heard one spoiler.
I'll just say it actually
was in the trailer, but
the only thing that I'm not going to spoil anything for you.
Did you watch it?
Yeah, I ended up going and seeing it.
Can I say you're a motherfucker that told me that you wouldn't have time to watch it?
But I didn't think I was going to, and then I had free time last night.
I don't hate you. I know I love you.
But anyway, it's on like the Ghostbusters 2 kind of level. It's an enjoyable film. It's a lot of fan service. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, so I'm gonna definitely review it next week in this setting. I'm not sure I'm gonna call it the Reel McCoy, but we'll see. It's just to be decided. But next week I will reveal which movie we're gonna watch in December, because we're gonna go into December. It's going to be Christmas time. We're going to watch Christmas themed movies. Yes, you can guess what one of them is going to be. Not going to say it. You'll guess it. But we already have two guests for two different podcasts. So it's going to be interesting. So I'm going to announce it next week. And next week I'm going to be here and going to review Ghostbusters Afterlife after watching it. Hopefully I'm going to watch it twice. Hopefully I'm going to watch it twice. But definitely once. All right. Until next week, ladies and gentlemen, have a great night, great day. Oh, before we leave, like, share, subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitter. DM me if you want. If you need any suggestions, at Mephisto, or on Instagram at Mephisto79. I'm not using Instagram that much, but I'm available there, or Mephisto79 at gmail.com for any type of suggestions. If you're graphically inclined, please send me an email. We might be doing some work together. Or if you just don't want to go on social media, I do not blame you, especially after last couple of days. Please, 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 comment section down below. It's there. I'm not blocking anyone. Trust me, I want to hear even the outlandish shit. Till then, ladies and gentlemen, have a great night.
See you in December.
See you in December.